him be, show favoritism or not be fair, I would have really probably backed away from it really.
Just as the courtroom settled into routine, a storm was about to shatter the calm. "This is not a joke, Your Honor. My client just discovered his wife is married to another man." The voice of Christine's lawyer sliced through the room like a blade through silk. Silence fell like a bomb. Gasps rang out. One court reporter dropped her pen, frozen mid-stroke. A cameraman from the press pool stopped filming, lens stuck in midair. Even the judge, renowned for her icy professionalism in high-profile family law cases, blinked and raised an eyebrow. The air chilled, thick with disbelief. In the middle of the room, Kody Brown sat motionless, eyes glued to the woman who had once been his entire world. Robyn Brown, his legal wife since 2014, the woman he had chosen above the rest, even divorcing Mary to elevate her, sat pale and stiff, her gaze locked to the floor as if the truth itself might vanish if she refused to look up. The day had been scheduled for a custody hearing between Kody and Christine regarding their daughter, Truly. But that plan had been obliterated the moment Christine's lawyer rose with a sealed envelope in hand and a calm voice that carried daggers. "My client finds this evidence directly relevant to the moral and legal fitness of Mr. and Mrs. Brown." All eyes turned to Christine. She sat composed, hands folded, expression unreadable, yet her eyes shimmered with something deeper. Vindication, perhaps, or long-awaited justice. The judge took the envelope and opened it with care. Her face shifted with every page she read, eyebrows twitching, lips pressing tighter. She finally set the papers down, took off her glasses, and fixed her stare on Robyn. "Mrs. Brown, do you affirm or deny the validity of this document?" The courtroom held its breath. Robyn didn't respond. Her lawyer leaned toward her, whispering something that made her flinch. Then, reluctantly, Robyn nodded. Kody's confusion broke into panic. He rose to his feet, trembling. "What document? What is going on?" The judge didn't soften her words. "Mr. Brown, this is a certified marriage certificate from Clark County, Nevada. It indicates that your lawful wife, Robyn Brown, was legally married to a man named Jason Hale 6 months ago." The room erupted. Audible gasps, stunned murmurs, even a few suppressed cries. Reporters jumped up, sprinting for the doors to break the news first. One woman covered her mouth, shaking. Kody's knees buckled. He clung to the wooden barrier, in front of him like a drowning man reaching for air. "Robyn," he whispered, "please tell me it's fake. Tell me this isn't real." But Robyn remained still. Her face frozen, her mouth tight, her eyes trained on nothing. Her silence was louder than any answer. The judge, now visibly irritated, smacked the gavel. 15-minute recess, counsel to chambers. And just like that, it was done. Chaos followed. Lawyers huddled with their clients. Media swarmed the hallway. But at the center of the storm, Christine sat quietly in her seat, lips curled into the smallest of smirks. It wasn't happiness. It was clarity. She had long warned of Robyn's duplicity, and now the world was watching her prophecy come to life. Robyn, the so-called favorite wife, was now exposed. The woman who once played innocent, claiming unity and peace, had secretly married another man while pretending to fight for family. And now even her children looked stunned. Behind her, Aurora and Dayton stood frozen. Their wide eyes mirrored the heartbreak they never saw coming. This betrayal wasn't just Kody's burden, it belonged to the entire family. Outside the courthouse, the media frenzy exploded. TMZ posted a breaking banner within minutes. Robyn Brown's secret marriage uncovered. Twitter trended with Robyn exposed and Kody heartbreak. Reddit threads speculated wildly. Was this an affair? Was this a double life? Had Robyn been planning this all along? Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, Kody sat stiff and silent, eyes burning into the woman he had once sacrificed everything for. He had torn apart his family to honor her, lost the respect of his children, alienated Mary, Janelle, and Christine. He had defended her blindly, and she had betrayed him fully. The man once so full of certainty now looked hollow, shattered, human. Robyn finally lifted her eyes. For one aching moment, their gazes locked. Memories flooded between them. Love, laughter, the children, the fame, the fights, the blind loyalty. And then it all crumbled.
I've seen men in plural marriage sort of have a tendency to gravitate.
Crumbled beneath the weight of one horrific truth. There were no tears, no dramatic outbursts, just silence. And that silence screamed. Behind them, their older kids stood in stunned disbelief. This wasn't just the collapse of a marriage. It was the exposure of a lie that rippled across a family and millions of viewers who once believed in the image of sister wives. Kody slowly sank back into his chair. His expression was stone, but his eyes were fire, rage, pain, humiliation. He leaned toward his lawyer and whispered just 4 words, "Get me the papers." His attorney hesitated, unsure if it was just shock speaking, but then nodded solemnly. Kody's mind was made up. The man who had once stood before the world and declared Robyn his soulmate was now ready to sever the tie forever. By morning, the courthouse was packed tighter than ever. What had started as a custody case had morphed into a public implosion. The leaked marriage certificate was now viral. TMZ uploaded a blurry image of the license. Fans froze frames, analyzed fonts, verified stamps. The name Jason Hale was everywhere. Reddit lit up with speculations. Was he the reason Robyn isolated Kody? Did Robyn have secret kids? Was Jason Hale on payroll just to get close to her? Outside the courtroom, news vans battled for parking spots. Inside, every seat was filled. Journalists from People in Touch and Rolling Stone squeezed into the gallery. Law clerks pretended to file papers just to witness the storm. This wasn't just a family dispute anymore. This was a spectacle. And at the center of that spectacle was a name nobody expected, Jason Hale. He wasn't just anyone. He'd been around the Brown family for years. A licensed financial planner, Jason was hired years ago to help the family organize their multi-household finances, navigate business structures, and deal with the complexities of managing a polygamist family in the public eye. He was calm, intelligent, invisible in plain sight. He rarely appeared on camera, choosing instead to work with Robyn behind the scenes on projects like My Sister Wife's Closet. And yet, according to court documents submitted by Christine's lawyer, Jason's role had gone far beyond taxes and spreadsheets. Over the past 2 years, he and Robyn had exchanged over 500 personal text messages, many of them sent in the middle of the night. They had taken trips to Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Salt Lake City, always claiming business meetings. But the timeline told another story. Christine's attorney presented a chilling chronology. Every major fallout between Kody and his other wives, every time Janelle left, every moment Christine pulled away, every argument with Mary, was mirrored by an uptick in Robyn's contact with Jason. The final blow? A legal marriage certificate? Dated 6 months ago, filed discreetly under Robyn's maiden name, Sullivan. She had listed a post office box as her address. She claimed she was living out of state for business reasons. Everything about it was designed to stay hidden. Until now. The judge called Robyn to the stand. Her attorney protested, claiming emotional distress. The courtroom held its breath, but the judge's tone was unyielding. Mrs. Brown is the only one who can explain this. She will testify. The room froze. Robyn looked petrified.
For Robyn, that was significant, and in my mind, I wanted to elevate all my relationships to that point. And that's what I felt like I was.
She moved slowly, like a prisoner walking to her own sentencing. Robyn Brown edged toward the stand without lifting her eyes to Kody. Not once. She looked like a woman already condemned. The entire courtroom leaned forward, waiting for what she might say, but when she finally opened her mouth, her voice cracked on the very first word. "I never intended for it to be like this," she whispered. Her voice trembled with shame, regret, and something else. Truth. "But Kody, you, didn't see me, you didn't hear me." Every word fell like a stone in the pit of the room. Gasps caught in throats. Kody clenched his fists, knuckles turning white. "I know what I did violated the law," Robyn continued. "Violated our marriage. But I didn't feel we were married anymore. Not to you. The pain in her voice was unmistakable. She wasn't defensive. She was broken. Jason listened, she confessed. Jason assisted. Jason was around. The name hung in the air like a curse. Kody's eyes narrowed, but his face was unreadable. His silence was thunderous. Robyn continued, I pleaded with you to see me, but you were always enraged at Christine, at Janelle, at the cameras, at the kids, and you made me pay for it by disappearing into yourself. You went off on your own. Her voice hitched. Sometimes I wouldn't see you for days, and when you were home, you weren't really here. Her next words gutted the room. Jason was just kind. I didn't arrange it. But I didn't stop it either. Not a single keyboard clicked. Not a single note was taken. Even the court reporter had frozen. The courtroom was in a trance. The judge leaned forward, her voice sharp but calm. Mrs. Brown, are you conceding that you entered into a legally valid marriage while still married to Mr. Brown? Robyn's nod was slow, heavy. Yes. Audible gasps shot through the gallery. Kody's attorney stood immediately. Your Honor, this establishes that Mrs. Brown committed bigamy under Arizona state statute. We will be filing charges to that effect. Robyn's lawyer fired back, citing emotional distress, mental manipulation, abandonment. This was not done with malice, she argued. We have documentation. The judge raised her hand, silencing them all. That will be determined in due course. Continue. Christine, sitting nearby, remained silent, arms crossed, face unreadable. But in her mind, the puzzle pieces finally fit. Robyn's secret phone calls, her designer, wardrobe, the sudden business trips. It had all led to Jason, the man who filled the void Kody had left behind. No one called Robyn innocent, but many couldn't help but wonder, was this the only way she could escape? Kody Brown, meanwhile, looked like a ghost. This wasn't the polished patriarch America knew from television. This was a man gutted from the inside out. He stared at the floor, unmoving. Everything he had sacrificed, his marriage to Mary, his family with Janelle, his lifelong bond with Christine, all for Robyn. And now she had betrayed him too. The damage was beyond repair. Jason didn't appear in court, but his lawyer sent a damning letter acknowledging the marriage and claiming he believed Robyn was legally separated. Whether that was true or not didn't matter anymore. Christine's lawyer unveiled bombshell after bombshell, joint bank accounts, secret hotel stays, a Las Vegas condo in Jason's name with Robyn listed as co-occupant. The betrayal wasn't emotional anymore. It was financial, legal, strategic. Kody's lawyers acted quickly. They filed a formal motion for divorce and financial restitution, charging Robyn with marital fraud, property abuse, and deception. The judge, stunned but composed, set a hearing for bigamy charges. As Robyn stepped down from the stand, she leaned over and whispered something only Kody could hear. His eyes didn't flinch. Whatever she said, it was too little, too late. The image of Kody and Robyn as the final strongest couple was now shattered. By session 3, the world had chosen sides. Tabloids exploded. The favorite wife falls, screamed people. YouTubers dissected every courtroom clip. Reddit exploded with new theories. The fantasy was over. The love story was now a cautionary tale. When Kody returned to court, he wasn't the same man. Gone was the proud patriarch with sculpted hair and confidence. In his place was a hollowed-out figure, hair disheveled, eyes sunken, rage just beneath the surface. The judge began reading aloud the evidence submitted overnight. Texts between Jason and Robyn, more financial transfers, a second Las Vegas property rental under Robyn's name. Still, Robyn didn't look at Kody once. She looked down, broken. Her usual composure cracked. And then it happened. The judge looked up. Mr. Brown, do you have something to say before we proceed to witness testimony? Kody didn't hesitate. He stood. His voice was raw but steady. Yes, Your Honor. I need a divorce. Today. Not next week. Not next month. Today. The room erupted, gasps everywhere. Even Kody's lawyer was caught off guard. This wasn't the plan. They were supposed to negotiate, protect assets, strategize. But Kody had reached the edge. I gave everything to Robyn, he continued. I sacrificed my family. I took in her children. I stood up for her when no one else did. I abandoned my own kids when they refused to respect her. His voice cracked. And all this time she was building a future with another man. He paused, swallowed hard. I stood up for her when Christine walked out. I begged Janelle to understand Robyn's needs. I ruined relationships with my children for her. And she left me anyway. She was building a new life the whole time. You could hear a pin drop. Even Robyn, the queen of restraint, was trembling. Then, Kody walked to his table, pulled out a document, and handed it to the judge's clerk. A fully signed, notarized divorce petition. His lawyer sat back in stunned silence. It was over. The judge, careful but firm, confirmed the document would be reviewed. Given the circumstances, she added, I am issuing an immediate temporary separation order. The ruling was swift. Kody was granted sole possession of the Flagstaff mansion, the very home he had purchased for Robyn and her children. Robyn was ordered to vacate within 48 hours. She would be moved into a smaller guest property owned by the family business. All of Robyn's dealings with Jason Hale, including my sister wife's closet, joint ventures, and private accounts, were frozen pending investigation. For the first time in years, Robyn had lost control. Kody sat back down, breathing hard, his eyes never leaving her. Not with longing, not with sorrow, with fury. The kind of fury born from betrayal too deep to name. Later that afternoon, cameras swarmed the courthouse steps. But Kody didn't say a word. He got into a black SUV and disappeared. His lawyer gave a brief statement. Mr. Brown has initiated divorce proceedings and seeks to reclaim his home, his dignity, and his peace. He asks for privacy in this deeply personal matter. Meanwhile, Robyn, flanked by her lawyer, walked briskly past reporters. Sunglasses hid her swollen eyes, but the cameras caught every step. The woman once adored as the chosen wife now walked alone. Clips of Kody's emotional speech exploded online. I gave her everything. She built a future with another man. It trended within hours. TikTok edits went viral. Commentators didn't hold back. He finally woke up. This is karma in real time. The actual finale of Sister Wives. And somewhere in Utah, Christine and Janelle were said to have shared a quiet video call. Not gloating, not laughing, just reflecting. The man who left them emotionally, spiritually, and physically had now been abandoned in the same way. Off the record, in a closed-door session, Kody's legal team regrouped. Are you sure you want to proceed without mediation? One lawyer asked. Kody didn't blink. She emotionally buried me for years. I lost everything for her. No more silence, no more compromise. Dividing assets would take months. Untangling business ventures, family trusts, shared properties, it would all be brutal. But for Kody, this wasn't about property. It was about truth, about vengeance, about taking back the narrative. Meanwhile, Robyn spiraled. Her lawyer advised, total silence. No Facebook, no interviews, no contact with Jason. But Robyn, according to private sources, broke down. I never thought Kody would leave me, she allegedly said. I thought he'd cry, scream, but still come back. She had miscalculated. She didn't understand that betrayal has a tipping point, and Kody had finally reached his. As Session 3 closed, the judge ordered a full financial audit of Kody and Robyn's accounts, especially those tied to Jason Hale. An investigator would examine every text, email, and financial transfer between Robyn and Jason to determine if criminal fraud or deception had taken place. But one thing was now absolutely certain. The Brown family, as we knew it, was dead. As the final gavel echoed through the courthouse walls, there was a sharp silence that cut deeper than any words spoken that day. Robyn sat frozen, her face pale and her fingers twitching with the last remnants of hope slipping through them like grains of sand. The courtroom, once filled with the storm of accusations, legal documents, and stifled sobs, now felt like the wreckage left behind after a violent storm. Kody didn't speak, not a word. He stood still, hollow-eyed, as if he'd watched everything he built collapse in front of him, brick by brick, and knew it was all his fault. The judge's final ruling was simple, clear, and devastating. The court had officially recognized the land sale, disqualified Robyn's forged paperwork, and reassigned financial responsibility for tax evasion and deceit. In short, Robyn had lost everything. Mary and Janelle didn't celebrate with cheers. There was no victory dance. They exchanged a single look, the look of two women who had weathered storms, suffered betrayals, and now stood at the other end of a long, brutal war. But even with their names cleared and their rights restored, they walked out of that courtroom carrying something heavier than legal documents. They carried the burden of memory, every lie, every manipulation, every time they were told to sit down, shut up, or forgive. That weight doesn't disappear with a verdict. It lingers like smoke. Outside, the paparazzi were already swarming. Questions were being shouted. Microphones were shoved forward. Robyn tried to shield her face, but there was nowhere to run. One journalist shouted, "Robyn, do you feel you betrayed the family?" Another asked, "Did you really forge signatures on Kody Pass documents?" Robyn didn't answer. She couldn't. Her voice had cracked hours ago when her own sister testified against her, revealing years of secrecy, coercion, and whispered deals Robyn thought would never surface. Her carefully crafted image had been obliterated in real time. She was no longer the innocent wife. She was the architect of her own downfall. Kody followed a few steps behind her, no longer the arrogant patriarch who once commanded the lives of 4 women. His walk had changed, slower, heavier, the kind of walk that came from realizing too late that you gambled everything and lost. Aurora, who once stood defiantly by Robyn's side, was nowhere to be found. Rumors swirled. Some said she left town. Others claimed she was in hiding, devastated by the revelations. Either way, the silence from her was deafening, and it left. Robyn looking more alone than she had ever been. Christine didn't even stop to look back. She had David Woolley's hand in hers, and with every step her eyes sparkled with a sense of peace Kody could never give her. She had survived the fire, and now she was walking into her own sunrise, finally free, finally whole. And though she didn't say it out loud, everyone felt what she meant when she held her head high. "You tried to break me, and I'm still standing." Janelle, meanwhile, gave one last press statement before stepping into her car. She looked directly into the camera, her voice unwavering. "We fought for the truth. That's all we ever wanted. To be seen, to be heard, and to have what was rightfully ours." Today, that happened. I hope this sends a message to every woman who's ever been silenced. Your voice matters. Stand up. Don't let them write your story. That statement would go viral within the hour. Robyn was nowhere, to be found by nightfall. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Some insiders claimed she checked into a secluded retreat in Arizona. Others alleged she was seeking help from family members estranged from the sister wives world. Either way, she was gone, not just physically, but emotionally erased from the legacy she tried so hard to control. TLC released a short statement, confirming the end of Robyn's filming contract. The network was already pivoting to a new special featuring Janelle, Christine, and Mary, reclaimed Life After Kody, and interest was skyrocketing. Kody, on the other hand, was seen 2 days later at a low-cost motel on the outskirts of Flagstaff. A grainy fan photo showed him sitting alone in a dimly lit parking lot, cigarette in hand, staring blankly at the asphalt. His world had shrunk. No mansion, no family dinners, no wives to berate or manipulate, just silence. And in that silence, the question that echoed the loudest was, what happens when a man builds a kingdom only for himself, and no one is left to stand beside him? Mary, who had stayed mostly silent throughout the final weeks, shocked fans with a powerful Instagram post later that night. It was a photo of her standing in front of Kody Pass, hair blowing, arms open, eyes fierce. The caption read, "You underestimated me, you all did, but I never needed your permission to start over." The comments exploded with support. Women across the country were calling her their new inspiration. The once forgotten first wife had become the symbol of quiet strength. And then came the biggest shock of all. Leaked court documents revealed that Robyn had already transferred power of attorney to an unknown male associate 6 months earlier, someone not publicly linked to the Brown family. Speculation erupted online. Some fans believed Robyn had been planning her escape long before the trial even began. Some theorized she was working with outside financial advisors to secretly shield her remaining assets. But one name kept surfacing, in comment threads and insider whispers: Nathaniel Gray, a distant cousin of Robyn's from Utah, known for his shady real estate dealings. Could Robyn have married him in secret to protect what was left of her empire? Kody hadn't spoken publicly since the courtroom collapse, but a voicemail leak changed everything. An anonymous source sent a recording to a gossip outlet, allegedly. Kody's voice, full of rage, shouting, "She used me! She was planning this the whole time! I gave up everything for her and she left me with nothing!" The clip spread like wildfire. In a matter of hours, public sympathy flipped. Kody, once hated by many, now became a tragic figure in a twisted tale of betrayal. The man who bet everything on a lie. Glow Gossips USA can confirm through internal court records that Robyn's legal team filed an emergency appeal, not to reverse the court's judgment, but to delay asset seizure. That motion was denied. Her accounts were frozen, vehicles repossessed, and most painfully, the Flagstaff mansion was officially listed for foreclosure. The empire she fought so viciously to build was falling, brick by gilded brick. In the end, it wasn't the fans, the press, or even the courts that brought this chapter to a close. It was the truth. Cold, unforgiving, but necessary. The Sister Wives saga had reached a point of no return. No reunion special could fix it. No apology could rewrite it. This was the end of the illusion, and the beginning of something real. And as the sun set over Coyote Pass, the land no longer represented broken promises or false unity. It was no longer the battleground. It was a blank slate, a place for new beginnings. And maybe, just maybe, that's what they all needed all along.